great, right there, I love it.
Jim Hobart got a job as a photojournalist for a local newspaper right out of high school. After decades shooting film, he bought a state-of-the-art digital camera and launched Macbeth Studio in 2006.
We shot stills for the first 5 years of being in business as Macbeth, and gradually over time, the camera's video capabilities continued to be improved with each generation of camera.
Jim was shooting stills, but thinking video. He had been for almost 2 decades, ever since he took a borrowed Handycam to England to visit relatives.
And I was sitting with my aunt, and she was telling me stories about World War II and walking amongst the rubble after a bombing raid. And I suddenly remembered this camera sitting in my suitcase upstairs in the bedroom. So I ran up and I got it, put it on the coffee table, and said, "Start again, tell me everything." And then I took it to my grandmother's house down in the south of England and did the same thing with her. And then within a couple of years, both of them had passed away, and I was at their funerals. And I realized that I was the only person who had a video recording of these two people. What are we having here, Glenn? What are we making here? Is this our cottage pie?
Cottage pie, yeah.
Splendid.
His spur-of-the-moment home videos instantly became priceless family treasures.
Fantastic.
He had the only documentation of how these beloved relatives spoke and how they moved. He had, in their words, captured their dreams, their fears, their regrets, and the love that they felt for family and friends.
And ever since then, I've been thinking, I need to capture the stories of my relatives and my friends, and because you just don't know. When I spoke to those two people, they were both perfectly healthy, vibrant, vivacious, and life happens fast.
But as it always does, life intervened. Jim got busy and thought he still had plenty of time until last Thanksgiving Day.
My mom called me and said, "Your dad's had a seizure." It was the result of a brain tumor. And up to that point, he had been in perfectly good health as far as we knew. And then everything changed that one day. Oh, there's Dad outside. There's some laundry on the line. I was beating myself up. I had huge regret. I was kicking myself for procrastinating and missing my chance to sit down with my dad and do his story.
Born of regret and fueled by a passion to help others not make the same mistake, the Legacy Life Project was launched in honor of Nick Hobart to share the extraordinary stories of ordinary people.
Everybody has a story. You don't have to be a famous person or a great inventor or a great explorer or a great athlete. Every single mom and dad and uncle and aunt and grandparent out there has an interesting story.
And the best person to elicit that story is almost never a relative, but rather a well-prepared, inquisitive interviewer skilled at asking the kinds of questions that evoke interesting, emotional, and revealing responses.
And I realized that as an outside observer coming in with a list of questions to ask without the children around, you get a much more unvarnished and complete story. Not only have we got the complete stories that they knew about, but in almost every case, we've uncovered stories that the person who hired us to go shoot didn't even know.
Jim conducts the interviews, and lead videographer Morgan Walker does the editing.
It is so gratifying. I mean, kind of in a selfish way, it just feels really good to be able to make someone so happy and thankful.
Well, first of all, I was number 6 of 8 children. And I was born in Bradford, England, and I've lived in the United States since '63.
Revealing interviews are the heart and soul of these videos.
I won't make it weak, but I don't like it too strong. Okay.
But capturing their subjects engaged in ordinary, everyday activities helps the Legacy Life Project team elevate their work to profoundly personal documentaries of a life well lived.
He sent me a card. Beautiful cards. I received 650 of those cards.
Say I do and make it last.
Yeah, I do and make it last.
Make it last.
I can speak from experience that the ordinary stuff is the stuff you miss. So we get a lot of, maybe grandma's making coffee, or dad's out watering his roses, or flipping through a photo album and reminiscing, or sitting in a favorite chair.
People don't even think about this until they see it and they're like, oh my gosh, like this, I need this. This is amazing. I can't think of anything else that would be, it's priceless.
We have delivered these finished videos, and the children and the grandchildren have, openly wept and thanked us.
Life is fleeting, and it goes by fast, and I think for a lot of people what's important is family and knowing where they came from.
Jim Hobart will never get over the regret of not interviewing his father when he had the chance, of not capturing on video the unique idiosyncrasies that made him who he was. But he's doing everything he can to help others not make the same mistake.
You just never know. That's the point of this, is you just never know how long you have with people. So don't wait, because by the time you find out, it's often too late.